cast a match to every corner of the earth, but measure the man by the soil of his birth. Yes, Ximam. They want to play but fear the whistle. Let's trace the boundary lines. Omar Artan, the garsoore, packed his FIFA badge. A historic pad from Mogadishu to the global pitch. Chosen to referee the World Cup finals in the States. But the journey ended cold at terminal gates. 11 hours in custody, the question sharp and thin, asking the militant factions in the land he grew up in. No charges, no connections, no shadow of a crime, just a visa stripped away at the borderline. They canceled his papers, forced him back to fly. Before the whistle blew, they closed the western sky. You want the rhythm of the soil, but block the human stride. You want the magic on the screen, but keep the man outside. We can run the boundary lines. We make the call, but the empire owns the ticket and builds the wall. Global stage, local cage, they tell us where to stand. A citizen of the world unless you carry our land. It's an old geometry, the way they draw the line. They want raw materials, the rhythm and the shine. They love the culture when it plays. They love the dancing feet, but when the body travels, they block the concrete street. They import players when they must win the cup, but when the arbiter arrives, they lock the border up. They fear the dark authority, a man who calls the foul. They'd rather keep the whistle under empire's cow. From Berlin in the winter of 1884 to the visa counter where they close the heavy door. You want the rhythm of the soil, but block the human stride. You want the magic on the screen, but keep the man outside. We can run the boundary lines. We make the call, but the empire owns the ticket and builds the wall. Global stage, local cage, they tell us where to stand. A citizen of the world unless you carry our land. At night I build with bricks upon the table wood. No passports needed for the blocks to find their neighborhood. They click together piece by piece, no borders at the seam. I make the towers rise, the structure of a dream. But outside, lines on paper are the coldest ones we saw, where whistle is just plastic and the gatekeeper is law. Then they roll the borders, how they curate the black. Partition in the living from a bureaucratic debt. They want the African resource, the athlete and the song, but keep the living author in the category of wrong. My daughter asks why rules are drawn so tight, and I'm unsure who owns the privilege of flight. It isn't about safety, it's the structure of the game. Who keeps the whistle? Who gets the shadow of a name? He goes back to the horn, to Mogadishu shore, while the empire plays behind a double-bolted door. They call it universal play, they call it open grace, but the border is the referee that locks us in our place. You want the rhythm of the soil, but block the human stride. You want the magic on the screen, but keep the man outside. We can run the boundary lines. We make the call, but the empire owns the ticket and builds the wall. Global stage, local cage, they tell us where to stand. A citizen of the world unless you carry our land. The whistle stays in the bag, the referee is crowned. The global game goes on, but the warning has been sounded. We see the structures built, we see where they fit. Ximam, just keeping score.